I'll open it, I guess.
Okay, go for it.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Occasionally Coherent, where we try to be occasionally coherent. I am a co-host by the name of Goose.
Mm-hmm.
I am here with another co-host, Casey.
That's me.
And we are, once again, Captain Kriegsless. So Captain Kriegs bailed on us again.
Unbelievable.
But,
Uncommitted.
yeah, I mean, the level of commitment is rather, just lacking. What can you say? No excuse. I guess Captain Kriegs, on his behalf, would probably share with the crowd that he is now full-fledged house searching.
He is, yeah.
Officially pre-approved and all of that. So it's kind of like getting your vaccination. You know, now you have permission to look at houses. Or something like that.
I think this is probably like the worst time ever in existence for looking for houses, man. Like, and it's like both me and Captain Kriegs are in that side of things, and it's a struggle. It's like he was talking about, he's like, well, first 4 houses I looked at, all 4 had offers on them, and I was like, yep, sounds about right. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Oh. I know, I saw a meme the other day that was finally found a house in my price range that's still available and is basically an outhouse. It's like a little shack thing. Yeah. So he's got that to look forward to. And I imagine he's got some other things going on tonight that have prevented him from participating. But nonetheless, we shall overcome, and
the show must go on.
The show must go on. Yes,
the show must go on. We're
dedicated. So what's on our list? I have not seen the agenda for tonight's show, but I'm under the understanding that Casey has actually printed out something.
Yeah, I did that last week too. I got 4 pages again today. Plus the story that we missed last week, but I don't know if we'll get to it this week. It was a Captain Krieg story, so he's not here, so
screw it then.
Right.
Yeah.
This one might just get balled up and
show up. His story can just freaking wait for him.
Right. So yeah, one thing that I didn't want to bring up that I don't know if you knew this, but actually you shouldn't have known this, but so I got to spend some quality time with the Goose last week. A couple of times we went to pick up a shower door that he was planning on installing, and then I actually did help him install it.
Yes, he did.
And during that time, I decided there's a lot of things that happen in my life that I need to start taking notes on and bringing them up, because I always think, like, oh, that'd be a great thing to talk about on the show. Oh, that'd be a funny thing to bring up on the show. So I wrote a couple of things down. I'm gonna see what of this stuff you remember.
Okay. All right. So, I've had this major bathroom remodeling project. I literally tore out the shower and got a new shower, had to put in the base, had all kinds of problems, did the floor, did the walls, repainted stuff. It's just been this huge project. And the last thing left to do was put the door on this corner shower. So it's like this shaped shower thing that sits in the corner, and the door is like a 3-piece deal where you got to put like the tracks on and stuff. And so but I got like the little bit more expensive one, and it's got this super thick heavy glass, and so it's really a 2-person job. And so that's why I leaned on Casey to come and help me. Yeah.
So like I said, I made a few observations. One of the things is Goose informed me that he is in the mood to swear more.
Dude, that mood has not changed as of today either, as far as work goes.
So we were on our way out of town, and it was probably like 7:30, getting close to 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So dark out. We're in Wisconsin and Minnesota. dark out, and we were crossing a bridge, and some guy swerved into our lane, like majorly swerved into our lane. Like if we weren't paying attention, which Goose has been driving for how many years, so he obviously was able to pay attention. And Goose goes, "Drunk motherfucker." For me, like, for those that know Goose, like, you don't get me wrong, like he'll curse once in a while, and I know like it's kind of a lame topic to talk about cursing, but in the context, like, he will curse once in a while. But I definitely have picked up on it. So when he brought it up, I just thought it was funny because I've definitely like noticed, because growing up we didn't really get, like, every once in a while when Goose would get angry or telling a joke or something like that, he might drop one on it and oh, look what Dad just said, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So that was really funny, and I got a kick out of that. So I wrote it down right away that I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to bring that one up on the podcast. Another one. This was part of the same trip. So we were listening to the radio, and we flipped over to a channel, and a Creed song came on, and I informed Goose that I will not tolerate any Creed slander, and he was sitting there ripping on him the whole time, and I'm just not here for it. It's one of those bands similar to like Nickelback, or I don't even know who else is on that list nowadays. But those are like Creed and Nickelback are usually the butts of a lot of joke. But guess what? Everybody knows the words to those songs, so that tells me that they're actually pretty good songs, and you're just lying to yourself.
I don't remember my exact quote, but it was something to the effect of "There shall not be Creed on this radio," since we were in my car, or my truck, I think it was.
Yeah, we were in the truck, and it was actually like it wasn't even like satellite radio or anything like that. It was a local station too, but it was awesome. They flipped it on, and we listened to the whole song.
Yeah, we did.
Because I was riding.
Only because I don't want to discourage help, and Casey was volunteering, so I thought, you know what, if it takes Creed to get Casey to help, then I guess I'll suffer through for a little while, if that's the case.
It's really funny too, because it's been kind of a TikTok trend. Like, people are like, oh, when somebody flips Creed or Nickelback on, they'll be like, oh, this garbage, and then they turn around and they're like singing the song or whatever.
Yeah,
it's really funny. And I'm like, that's 100% everybody, except for me. Like, if those songs came on, I'd be singing them out in public. I actually informed Goose that pretty much any Creed song are usually my go-to karaoke songs. So if anybody ever runs into me in karaoke,
expect some Creed.
Yeah, chances are "With Arms Wide Open" might be the opening song, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Was there a Creed at your wedding?
I don't know. There might have been.
I don't remember.
Probably not. They're not really wedding songs. I guess they're more
Arms Wide Open.
Yeah, I guess. That's about him welcoming his son into the world. Not really.
Yeah, I guess.
Like marriage or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
And then I can't believe I'm bringing this one up, but
oh no.
So we brought this shower door back to Goose's place and brought it in the house, and later on in the week we were gonna get it set up, and we were trying to work out a day that I was going to work for me to swing over after I'm done with work, help get it put up and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I had sent Goose a message saying, yep, I will be over around this time, got to stop at home and cook with my wife, in her name, to which Goose responded, and I was very confused at the time, to which Goose responded, TMI, but okay. And I'm like, what? Like, who cares? Like,
I'm gonna read.
Go ahead and find the actual messages. I was gonna pull them up, but I was just
because I was kind of proud of this. Shower door tonight. Okay, here we go. So you said, okay, I'll be there around 6. I gave you a thumbs up. And then I ended up getting a meeting scheduled at 6. So I said, you might as well make it 6:30. And you said, okay, I'm going to cook with the wife, and then I'll come over. And to which I gave thumbs up, and then TMI, but thumbs up.
So after when I got to Goose's house and after we got in the shower, I was like, by the way, why did you say TMI? To which you responded, well, I didn't know if that was an innuendo for something, and I just wanted to say.
That was like code for something. That was,
and I'm like, why would I, like, don't get me wrong.
My wife, you know?
Don't get me wrong. Me and Goose, I have a close relationship with my father, but I draw the line somewhere. Did
I like get a little too close to the line there?
You got a little close to the line there.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
No, it was super funny.
I thought it was kind of funny myself.
I laughed pretty hard at that. So I thought that was pretty good.
It's cooking with the wife. I mean, geez, you know, kids will be kids, right?
And then last thing before we get into some news stories, actually, I guess I don't know if Goose has any hot takes written down. We can wait until if you have some, we'll get to them. But I did have another question for you, Goose. Have you ever been in a deodorant emergency?
Wow, it's been a hot minute since I've been in a deodorant emergency. I'd say you're probably talking like going back to high school / college years. So yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, I don't think, at least, that I've been blessed with, you know, really, really bad pit action, but definitely, like in high school, I definitely had some pit emergencies, some deodorant emergencies. Yeah.
I had a deodorant emergency today.
Oh my!
So it's been very cold out, and in the wintertime, you know, you get all bundled up, and for me, like my routine has actually very recently changed in the morning because my wife got a different job, so she's working in the morning, actually getting up sometimes even earlier than I do. So our routine has changed, so now I'm getting up a little bit earlier, and I'll get up and I'll put on like sweatpants and whatever else, and then I'll throw a jacket on, let the dogs outside, and then I'll start one or two of the vehicles depending on what time I'm leaving in the morning.
Sure.
And I usually will then go back inside, change into whatever I'm going to wear for work while the cars are running, eat some breakfast, and then I'll throw on my deodorant, brush my hair, which I don't really have much hair these days anymore, but brush my hair. I'll run a comb through my beard and stuff like that too now that it's getting a little bit longer, and then that's when I do that. Well, today, when I got up, I got my work clothes on right away instead of putting on my sweatpants because my sweatpants are actually dirty. And I ran outside, did my thing, got the cars started and stuff like that, came back inside, ate breakfast, and then left without stopping in to the bathroom to take care of my morning routine there. And it wasn't until, and of course, I'm like bundled up, so it's not like stench wasn't about to like start pouring out or anything like that. But I get to work and I'm sitting there, and I had, when I got there, I ended up having to run around and do a bunch of stuff, so I was actually getting pretty warm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And I'm like starting to kind of like move around a little bit, and I was like, uh-oh, I forgot to put on deodorant. I'm like, okay, not a big deal. I usually keep one in my bag. I have two different desks. I have two different offices at work, and I keep one at each office, and then I sometimes keep one in my car as well. Like, I'm usually pretty prepared for it because this isn't the first deodorant emergency. And looking around my desk, nope, not in here. Okay, must be at the other office. That's fine. There were none in my bag either. Get to my other office halfway through the day, and luckily I didn't have like any meetings or anything like that. So, and there was none there either. And I'm like, oh crap! Like, what the heck happened to all of this stuff? So then I went out to my car, and I'm digging around, and literally the only deodorant I could find was my wife's deodorant.
In your car?
In my car, but because she's kind of the same. Like, she kind of stashes that stuff everywhere, so whenever she needs it, she can just do a quick swipe or whatever.
Sure,
And so I am currently, and as of this afternoon, wearing my wife's deodorant.
So you may or may not be pH balanced then, right? Because that's like the old advertisement for women's deodorant was pH balance for female.
I'm not sure what it is. It's like a degree,
you could be
like
out of
fancy.
pH balance at this point.
It didn't smell like women's deodorant, like too bad. Like it had more of a floral smell to it, so it wasn't like over the top like peaches and cream or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that was what I went through today. It was wonderful.
That's rough. Yeah, the whole swearing thing, like literally, like I'm still totally there, man. Today was not one of my best days at work, and not like literally like the last couple weeks have just been really rough at work. And part of it is I got this new job. I kind of signed up for it. I knew it was going to be tough. And so, that's just how it goes. But it's been freaking brutal with people. So yeah, that's been a challenge. So definitely still in the mood for some swearing. Yeah. Deodorant, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah, deodorant emergency. And I'm like, God, you know what? I just can't believe, like, it's been a while. So like being prepared that way. I'm wondering if like I've used up all of my emergency ones, so I'm gonna have to replenish. Yeah. And even like I was messaging the wife earlier. Travel ones. Well, that's just it. So I was messaging the wife earlier, and she's like, "Well, didn't I give you a bunch of those to stash around in places?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have no idea where they went." Like those little tiny ones, like they're perfect.
Ferreted away somewhere, and now you can't find them.
So. So that was my day. You got any hot takes for me? Otherwise, I got some news headlines that you might find interest in, Goose.
I don't have any hot takes except for the meme that I posted on our group chat with our buddies. The interesting fact that Jake from State Farm doesn't have a quarterback in the Super Bowl at this point now because Rodgers and Mahomes both lost. So there you go.
Speaking of sports, by the way, a special episode of OC Sports Talk out on the Occasionally Coherent feed. So
is it out there?
It's out there. Yeah,
nice.
We recorded it, and I think we recorded it.
How's Miami Friday. Marcus doing?
Doing good. Yeah. Doing good. Yeah, it was a good time. We're working on figuring out a way to make it a more regular thing, but good. It's just all going to kind of depend on what the schedule allows.
Yeah. There you go. Cool.
All right, so I got some headlines here for the Goose.
All right.
And we'll see what he has to say. Some video game related headlines, and then a story from him as well that I wanted to dive into that I thought was pretty funny. So some video game related headlines. We got Sony has agreed to purchase the original developer for Halo, Bungie. Right now they're the current developer for Destiny and Destiny 2. Bungie is reportedly being bought for in excess of $3.6 billion.
3.6 bill?
3.6 billion. Bungie will still be developing multi-platform games and continue to be an independent studio and publisher alongside PlayStation Studios, who publisher of exclusives like God of War from 2018. Mm-hmm. Future Bungie games are not expected to be exclusive. Destiny 2, which has a current expansion coming out in February on the 22nd, titled The Witch Queen, will remain multi-platform and cross-platform. I don't know, like, for reading this whole story, like, the questions that I had, I was like, then what is the reason for Sony purchasing Bungie? Unless they're going to develop exclusive things that are going to be Sony. Like, that's the thing that doesn't make, like, I can't imagine that Bungie's making that much in sales or on the game. Like, it's a live service game, I guess, so people are constantly buying stuff, but I just can't imagine that. It's like, when is it worth that amount of money then without it being exclusive to a Sony platform? Like, I can understand maybe they do either our platform or PC, but because they're moving some of their PlayStation Studio games to PC as well. But I was just very surprised by the fact that Bungie's basically like, yep, nothing's changing on our end. And I was like, then what is this money going towards, I guess?
Yeah, I could be right on that. It could be exclusivity. Yeah.
So another one that I thought was pretty funny. I know I don't think you are super familiar, but Hyperscape, Ubisoft's attempt to join the overpopulated market of free-to-play battle royale games, has been canceled after less than 2 years. Support is set to end on the 28th of April. The game launched back in August of 2020. Was never able to gain a full audience. It was a futuristic cityscape take on the game genre. It never really clicked, and the writing's been on the wall because at a while ago, it might have been almost a year ago now, Ubisoft actually offered a $10 coupon to the Ubisoft store just to get people to play the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I almost was gonna try it, and then I was like, yeah, they didn't get me.
Yeah, and let's see, yeah, and then the other thing that kind of people figured this was happening sooner rather than later. The last update to the game came almost a year ago as well in April.
Wow! Yeah.
So they haven't even been supporting it since then.
I mean,
so they're
is
gonna.
Anybody playing it?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I tried it when it first launched.
Yeah.
I got access to the beta and I tried it, and it was just not that fun.
Yeah.
Like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind battle royales. The thing is, you got to have people to play them with, and I definitely didn't have anybody to play that one with.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you're gonna play a game like that, like you need to have like a group of people, right?
Right.
That are willing to be available when you want to play, basically, or vice versa. And if you don't have that kind of core, then I think a lot of those games become pretty, just run of the mill. They don't offer that much. So I think it's really the kind of that group aspect that will get people in there and get them playing, and then then they got kind of the gotcha part of it, if you want to keep going or whatever. But yeah, that's tough, man. I guess I'd be curious if they ever made any money on it.
I can't imagine they did make any money on it. Like
that's tough.
Honestly, it was just they were about probably 2 years too late to the game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of that stuff
they weren't
out
quite
there
as
already.
fast. Yeah, they weren't quite as fast paced as something like Apex Legends or Warzone, and then they weren't quite as campy or family friendly as like a Fortnite.
Right.
I guess like they just really couldn't find their own niche in the market for that one. And the last gaming story, MLB The Show 22.
Oh.
Shohei Ohtani is going to be the cover athlete.
Ohtani.
I mean, they were quoted as saying basically like, who else could it be?
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, he's crazy good, once in a lifetime type guy. It seems like, or has potential to be. Put it that way.
Yeah,
as long as he stays healthy.
The game will be coming out on the 5th of April of this coming spring. The game is going to support cross-platform play and be available on the Xbox One, Series S and X, PlayStation 4 and 5, and for the very first time it will be available on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh. I haven't played a baseball video game. I can't remember the last time I played one.
Yeah. The show was fun. We played the crap out of it back on our PlayStation 3 days. I kind of got out of it.
That's
I think
probably the last
after
time
that
I played too.
And it was kind of I mean, they were pretty exclusive to the baseball simulator type game.
Mm-hmm.
They're top notch. That's how sports games are supposed to be. Between them and the 2K games, although I think the last 2K game people had some problem with, but they were like, this is what sports games should be. People were growing tired of Madden screwing it up every single year, and and they have the MLB actually getting it right for the one thing that the MLB is actually getting right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah.
All right, and now I got a story that Goose sent me. So this one is, you'll have to bear with me on this one. You got to peer into the mind of the Goose. This is from The Guardian.
That's scary.
Which is a UK news outlet.
Yeah.
So some of the words are going to be a little bit tough for me. I have a hard enough time reading as it is.
You need me to read for you?
Do you want to read the story, Goose? You can read the story here.
All right. Hot off the desk. All right. So this was a story that was in The Guardian that I thought was pretty hilarious. So the headline is Dorset Knob Throwing Festival canceled after becoming too popular. So, a knob throwing event has been canceled because the size has become too much to handle for the organizers. The Dorset Knob throwing contest involves competitors hurling a traditional Dorset knob. And that is what?
What's a Dorset knob?
That is a hard biscuit, as far as they can. The record throw of 29.4 meters, this is England, that's actually 96 feet, was set in 2012. This is now the third year in a row the organizers have been forced to cancel. In 2020, there was no venue available. In 2021, put an end. COVID stopped it. But this year's organizers admitted that the event, due to be held on May 1st in Caddystock alongside the Frome Valley Food Festival, has become too popular for the organizers to manage. So other events in the day include knob eating, knob painting, a knob and spoon race, guess the weight of the big knob, knob darts, and a knob pyramid.
A knob pyramid.
Indeed, a knob pyramid. A statement on Facebook from the Dorset Knob Throwing Committee said, "It is with great sadness that the Dorset Knob Throwing and Frome Valley Food Festival is unable to go ahead on May 1st, 2022. They had guess how many people they had in 2019 at the knob throwing event.
So I actually 100%, I just basically took the story and I added it to the sheet, so I did not read this whatsoever. I don't know, like 750 people.
They had over 8,000 people attend the 2019 event, meaning it has reached such a size that it simply cannot be run by a small village committee. They looked at various options, but sadly couldn't make any work. So apparently the Dorset Knob started life sometime before 1860. Again, this is a hard biscuit.
I have a hard time like, when you keep saying, I'm literally thinking like
you're thinking
doorknob,
and that's probably where I would imagine.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure that there's probably a correlation between that. But.
So it started sometime before 1860 when the Moores family began baking in West Dorset, according to the Moores biscuit maker. So after the day's bread making was finished, it was the custom to make Dorset knobs by adding butter and sugar to the leftover dough and hand rolling them in small buttons. They were then baked in the dying heat of the bread oven to dry them out to dry them out. The Dorset knob was originally named after hand-sewn Dorset knob buttons that were still being made in the last revival of the once thriving cottage industry. So there you go.
Alrighty then.
In case any of the listeners were interested in going to the Dorset knob throwing competition this year, forget it. If you booked your plane tickets to the UK,
you're SOL, man.
You're SOL.
You ain't going. Well, I mean, you can go to the UK, but you ain't going to the knob throwing festival.
There you go. Exactly. And now I get to throw the paper.
Now you get to throw a paper at me. There you go. Oh man. I literally I read the headline and I was like, I'm just not gonna read this because I have no idea what this is gonna be about. I was not expecting biscuits, I can promise you that.
When you saw the knob thing.
So I swear, like, isn't knob like a UK insult for like calling somebody like a dickhead or something like that? Don't they toss that around pretty willy nilly?
I think that's more in the US.
Is that a US insult? Because I mean I've been called a knob before.
Well, and I know Mama Goose used to call people knob, and T. Frey and the Hunter's mom. They definitely like to throw that term around a lot back in the day. So I know it's a US thing at least to call somebody a knob. But yeah. Do you have other stories?
I don't have any other stories. I just have some bonus topics that if we get to, but nothing I got.
I have another story that I can dedicate to Captain Creeks.
All right.
So, this is from a week ago in Berlin, Germany. The headline in AP. So, Germany criticizes Czech tycoons 257 mile per hour Autobahn ride. So in Berlin, Germany, Germany's transport ministry has criticized a stunt that saw a Czechoslovakian millionaire drive his high-powered sports car along a public highway at speeds of up to 414 kilometers per hour, which is the equivalent of 257 miles per hour. A video posted online this month shows Radim Passer pushing his Bugatti Chiron to extreme speeds on a stretch of Germany's A2 Autobahn between Berlin and Hanover. Beneath the video, Passer wrote that the stunt was filmed last year on a 6-mile straight section with 3 lanes and visibility along the whole stretch. Safety was a priority, so the circumstances had to be safe to go, he said. But the car can be seen passing several other vehicles on the highway, and the light in the video suggests it was at twilight. While much of Germany's Autobahn network famously has no speed limit, the Transport Ministry said in a statement Wednesday that it rejects any behavior in road traffic that leads to or can lead to endangering road users. All road users must abide by the rules of the road traffic regulations, it added, citing the first clause of Germany's road traffic law, which states that anyone participating in traffic must behave in such a way that no other person is harmed, endangered, or obstructed, or inconvenienced more than is unavoidable under the circumstances. So
they always word their stuff so weirdly, man.
Yeah,
I don't get that. Like anybody who wants to participate in traffic, and I'm sure like probably the translation doesn't feel that way.
Probably
but
what it
there's
is,
always something lost in the translation there. It's always always blows my mind.
Yeah, 414 kilometers per hour. That's moving right along. Especially on a public road. Yikes.
Fun fact, I knew that about 100 kilometers per hour was around 60 miles per hour.
And why did you know that?
Because my first car had the speedometer flipped around, so instead of having the kilometers per hour as
famously Canadian.
My first car was famously Canadian, and the kilometers were the main speedometer, and then the secondary speedometer was miles per hour, and right around 60 miles per hour is about 100 kilometers per hour. So I thought I was pretty cool because my speedometer went up to 200 kilometers per hour.
What was that? What was the movie that had the famous piece of shit Honda?
What's that? It's with the
it's
Dane
like the
Cook and
supermarket thing or super.
What the hell's that one called? Employee of the month.
There you go. Yeah. So for the listeners, Casey had the basically the POS Honda.
Yeah. Piece of shit Honda.
Was his first
car. We don't have to sugarcoat it. It was a piece of shit, man. But I love that car.
Famously Canadian.
100%.
It started as a Canadian car because it had everything was kilometers.
100%. If I still had that car, I would be driving it. Like that car was amazing.
Oh my gosh,
dude. So Goose and I went under that car to change the oil.
Yeah.
And it was darn near rust free underneath that car.
It really was. And it had a lot of kilometers on it.
Yeah. It had it had over 300,000 kilometers
It is also the first car that I've ever seen get stuck in the middle of the road.
Yeah, the car had no weight to it whatsoever. Me and a buddy that I used to give rides home to all the time from volleyball games and basketball games and stuff, because me and him didn't play basketball, so we'd always ride. And he was a big dude, really big dude. And we got stuck in our school parking lot, because it was super icy, and you had to turn and go around it. You have your one way going down, and then you turn around, and you got your one way coming back up. And on that turnaround, we got stuck going straight, and we were going straight towards the school, so I had to stop. I actually had to pull the e-brake. So I stopped, and me and him were able to get out, and that car was light enough where we were able to both push on the back end and get it turned enough where I could just drive it almost straight out of the parking lot. So we turned it basically 90 degrees ourselves, just sliding it on the ice. That's how light that car was.
That's hilarious. That is funny. Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, first cars, they're the best.
Where did that car end up?
I have no idea. You were the one who sold it, because I gave it to you to sell, and you gave me the PT Cruiser. I bought the PT Cruiser from you, and part of the exchange was I was giving you that car to sell, which I think you sold it for
Facebook Marketplace thing or something, maybe. Yeah. or end of the driveway sale.
I think it was an end of the driveway sale, but I remember it. We because I bought the car for $450 because I went to buy it for $500 and sitting there talking to the guy, and he was like, "Oh, it needs a tank of gas. It's almost out of gas." And I'm like, "Well, you take $50 off the price so I can fill it up?" And he said, "Sure."
That's so the way to negotiate.
The negotiating skills started at an early age. And then I'm almost positive he sold it for $500. So technically, we made $50 on that car. I feel like
I remember that it was also the car. Didn't you have to like pound the dash to get the high beams to work or something like that?
Yeah, and I think we've told the story, but Captain Kriegs will get a kick out of this when he's listening. So it's one of his favorite stories to tell about the vehicle. So so I bought this car basically after he left for school because we needed a vehicle for me and Smelly Cat to run around, and he had one of them with him. So I got it. I saved up my money. It was my car. Like, I saved up my money and I bought this car. And It had some electrical issues, being at the time it was already like 20 years old when I got it, because it was a 92 or a 93.
Yep, it was like a 92.
So it was pretty old. And so the high beams would work sometimes if I flipped the switch to get the high beams on, and then other times they wouldn't. One way to get them to potentially work was if you whacked the dash a little bit. And sometimes you knock where it turns, kind of like, when Fonzie hits the jukebox, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I literally, I found like the exact spot. And if I did basically just like hit it, but eventually it started to get probably like, it must have been just loose wires or something, like loose connection. So eventually I had to start hitting it pretty hard in order to get them to turn on. And me and Captain Creeks were going somewhere. We were driving. And it was nighttime, and it was getting pretty dark out, and Captain Crease is like, "Aren't you going to turn your brights on? Like, it's pretty dark out here." And I go, "Oh, yeah." And I wound up and just hammer-fisted the dash, like, as hard as I could, because at that point, it was basically like they were never turning on for me, and they turned on.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Good old POS Honda, man.
Dude, it had one working speaker at the end of its life. It had a sunroof though.
Yes, it did.
Like that was.
Did it have like a hand crank sunroof? Wasn't it a hand crank or was it power?
No, it had a windshield,
like a visor
in front of the sunroof or visor or whatever you want to call it, and then it actually opened like all the way up. Like, there was no, like, safety where, for a while, sunroofs was, like, only open, like, part of the way. There was no safety on that bad boy. It was rolling all the way back.
Yeah, there you go.
It was
that thing was great.
I have to ask Smelly Cat. One of the trades for me, like, giving her rides to school and never like charging her for gas or anything like that was she always had to clean the car for me.
Oh.
So she the very first day we brought it home, she cleaned the car for me. That was the trade-off because she needed a ride like the very next day. So
yeah. Well, that's I didn't realize that. That's good. That's good. I feel like I had a story to tell about Smelly Cat last week and I can't think of it now. God darn it. I'm gonna have to try to remember. Her boyfriend and I had a fun time yesterday. We went to the Beatles IMAX movie for the concert on the roof.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Really cool. I highly recommend it. Supposedly they're gonna put it out again. If you're any kind of a music fan, they have this thing on the Beatles called Get Back right now on Disney Plus. It's a 4-part documentary about the Beatles making in the studio, but also like kind of around and about while they're making an album in '69. And it's 4 parts, 2 hours each, so it's a long. But if you're like at all interested in like creativity and how a group of musicians can like create, it's really cool, like insight into kind of like how they would come up with stuff. And then this movie on the IMAX was the concert that they did on the roof, which was an impromptu thing, and literally they had cameras all over the place, and like literally like people on the street with cameras and microphones talking to people, and it was just really cool the way they did it. Like it really made you feel like you were there, and it was like a set in time thing where you felt like you were in 1969. Like all the people are wearing stuff that's clothes for the time period. All the cars, like everything is just so like 1969, Yeah. And it was just really cool, really good. I really highly recommend it for anybody that's a Beatles fan or a music fan or just a kind of a fan of things that are creative. I think is really cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I didn't realize that you were going to see it. So when you had sent that message yesterday, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like it was like the perfect thing for you. Like I'm not surprised that you went to see it. Like I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like Goose would go and see it.
Yep, so. For sure. And then musically, I guess as long as we're in the music segment here, I also got some speaker parts back from. So I can rebuild another set of my big loudspeakers. So I'm pretty excited about moving into a different room in the house and setting up my stereo with 2 sets of big speakers. So that's going to be cool. So I'm excited about that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to save these topics for when Captain Kriegs is here because they're not overly serious, but they're a little bit more serious. So we'll wait until Captain Kriegs gets back for those. Huge shout out to those who are giving us some love and support on our social media channels. We really do appreciate it. I am
check out the Pook Took video.
Yeah. I caught up a little video. Check out our official TikTok as well. I'll try my best to get some highlight videos up there. I have a couple more that I'm working on now, so I'm working on
Casey.
it.
All the credit goes to Casey for any TikTok things because I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah,
and I have no plans on going on TikTok.
I don't know. I might have to make the fans might clamor for an official The Goose TikTok, man.
Yeah,
it could be there. There's potential there.
Yeah. Somehow I have my doubts.
So, check out our YouTube page. We are fully caught up on our YouTube videos as far as staying on top of things. So my goal is to stay on top of them a little bit better. So I'll get this video out. I'm trying something a little different, so I'm cutting back and forth on the cameras between myself and the Goose here. We'll see how well I did on that. I think there was a couple of times where one of us was talking and I had the camera on the wrong person,
or whatever,
right? Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm just kind of like looking around the room or whatever. So feel free to call us out on that kind of stuff or clip any of that stuff and send it to me. I'll throw it all together and have some fun with it. But we're trying. I'm trying some new stuff. We
are occasionally coherent.
Yeah,
so,
it fits the mold. It definitely fits the mold. Other than that, again, I want to give a shout out to Robot Opera for some background music and stuff like that. And that's all I got, man.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right.
Peace.
All right, thanks everyone.
I'm good.